Hi guys, let's continue with the 2011 questions. Now remember, you should have completed this paper in advance of watching this, otherwise you really won't gain too much from just watching this. Okay, so first question here, we're going to run through 6 to 10 in this video. The diagram shows the cost and revenue curves of a monopoly producer whose only cost of production is a fixed cost. Okay. So we can see this AFC, or average fixed cost, which in effect will be the average total cost, given that the only cost of production is a fixed cost. Now we can see that average revenue is less than the average fixed cost, and we can see that there. So the price that will need to be charged in this market will be at OX. The monopoly won't be able to charge why? Because that's not where the demand curve is. Not unless the demand was to shift outwards would that be achievable. So what will such a monopolist do? Well, we can see that average total costs are in advance of the average revenue. So therefore, in the longer term, this monopolist will need to shut down. So in the meantime, though, in the short run, he will charge, or she will charge, a price of OX, but discontinue production in the long run. Okay, all right. Next question, number 7. Okay, so diagram shows a firm's short-run marginal cost curve. What explains why the curve is upward sloping at output levels above OQ? Okay, so essentially the marginal cost curve will slope upwards because of those diminishing marginal returns. Now, we've got to remember that that is really integral to understanding the marginal cost curve. So what explains why the curve is upward sloping? Well, we can see the law of diminishing marginal returns there. So it will be D. So this is our answer. Now, of course, just to put this into some sort of context, just remember that old phrase, too many cooks spoil the broth. And just think about it another way. If you put too many dishes or too many clothes into a washing machine or a dishwasher, then there's a fair chance they won't be as well cleaned. So thus, you will need to put on 2 loads. All right. Okay. So next question, number 8. The table shows the inputs of the 2 factors of production, capital and labour, needed to produce varying levels of output. Okay, so over which output range do increasing returns to scale occur? So increasing returns, of course, are where you experience higher rates of return from a given level of inputs. So we can see each of these increases in output is at 100. So then all we need to actually look at is the actual inputs that are going into this. So here we can see to generate the first 100 units, 15 factors of production are actually required there between capital and labour. Now, as we move into the next one, the actual marginal increase is from 15 to 30. So again, it goes up by 15. For the next 100 units of output, we can see it increases by 12. Okay, so it just increases by 12 for an A. For the next one, we can see it rises from 6 and 12, so that would be 18. And then we can see 6 and 12, so 18 once again. So clearly, the period where they are experiencing increasing returns to scale is from 200 through to 300 units of output. So the answer here would be B. Okay. Right, next question. Which characteristic would make it easier for firms in an industry to collude? So this is fairly simple. If you know examples of collusive industries such as OPEC, the oil producing exporting countries, as well as the maple syrup cartel, and of course you may well have seen Narcos on Netflix. So the answer here would be greater product similarity. Okay, that makes it far easier to collude. Okay, last question we'll consider in this video is number 10. Let's just get that lined up. So the points in the scatter diagram indicate the prices and quantities sold of an agricultural commodity in different time periods. It may be concluded that these points were generated primarily by changes over time in... Okay, so what's taking place? Well, if we think about this, we're going to have a demand curve which is going to look something like so, and a supply curve looking something like that. Okay, so here we can see that really this is reflecting changes in the actual supply. So we might have supply 1 here, supply 2, supply 3, supply 4. So what we can determine is that this all reflects changes in supply. It's not changes simply in the actual price level in accordance with demand. It's about those supply curve shifts. So therefore the answer would be C. Okay, see you on the next clip, guys.